Jujutsu Kaisen has quite a lot of characters and some really cool ones. And of course, such a big cast makes for some great fights, for some unique abilities, and it's just some really amazing stuff in general. But the issue of this is, of course, there's going to be a lot of characters who are underrated by the fanbase, as this happens with all stories. And that's what I'm here to talk about today, the most underrated characters in Jujutsu Kaisen. And this is actually inspired from a video by Seth the Programmer, where he did a video on all the underrated Naruto characters, so I'm actually going to do something similar for the JJK one. So it's pretty much that version, but for JJK. And actually, in the community tab of my channel, I asked all of you on who you guys think the most underrated characters are, as I would be using your replies in the video. And it is pretty crazy. I mean, as I'm recording, there's 58 replies already, and I imagine by the time this video is up, there's probably going to be some more replies. So apologies if I didn't get to every single one. I will try to be addressing the ones that come up the most. But yeah, do be sure to check out the community tab so you don't miss out on things like these. But without further ado, let's discuss who the most underrated characters in all of Jujutsu Kaisen are. But of course, if you like JJK content just like this, versus battles, what ifs, discussions, theories, live streams, reviews, and the whole bunch, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I have a ton of Jujutsu Kaisen content and a ton more coming, so it would be much appreciated. And of course, thank you to the only special grade or honored one member, which is just Trey, by the way, or that guy Trey. But yeah, Trey, you're a legend. You're standing alone at the top. But actually, the character that came up the most or got the most likes was Jogo, and in both aspects. So of course, we have John saying Jogo as a character, and we have Pro Hero and Prabhat both saying that Jogo is underrated because he fights literally the two strongest characters in all of JJK history. And I do think this is kind of fair. I'm actually someone who I think rightfully underrates Jogo because he is overrated by some fans. But yes, nowadays he does tend to get underrated. And I guess I should specify that by the power scaling community. So by the fans who do power scale JJK and have a good idea of what's going on. So the general fan base, therefore it's maybe a bit different. But actually first I want to start off with Jogo's character. I actually think his character is really cool. How he thinks they're the true humans, you know, not literally humans, but you know what I mean. And how he just wanted to make cursed spirits reign over the world, but not in a, oh, I want to rule the world kind of way. But it's more so he literally is trying to put the cursed spirits on top, trying to put his kind on top. It's really cool. And one thing I'll say is I love his eccentric personality, and especially his expressions, because he does have an old man voice, and he does act like an old man because he has the crane, but he actually acts pretty rashful, pretty bashful. You'll know what I mean if you saw the extras where him and Haname are actually in high school. If you're confused by that, YouTube that. He acts pretty youthful, actually. He's very cocky, very arrogant, very hot-headed, which granted, that one maybe because he is a volcano spirit and his head is actually really hot. So granted, maybe that's why for that part. But yes, I just really like his personality, and he does have moments, you know, where he is humble, where he is serious. He's just a cool character, I'm not gonna lie. And yes, maybe he isn't the strongest character in the world, but he's pretty dope though. And he actually cares about his cursed spirits, even to the point that he's okay with dying because Mahito would still be around. That's a good thing he didn't see how that ended up. But yes, when Dagon died, he was very sad, and when Hanami died, he was pretty upset because the cursed spirits do care about each other. And yes, of course, in terms of combat, he is insanely powerful. Look, he's not as strong as these special grade sorcerers like Yuta, Yuki, and obviously characters like Uro and Ishigori would beat him as well, but he's not as weak as people make him seem to be. But I actually do have to say, he does deserve to be underrated in terms of combat. His destructive capabilities are no joke, so perhaps people, and even myself, underrate him too much. And next up, we have Reggie, and this is actually the whole reason I'm even making this video. Initially, I was just gonna make a video on how strong Reggie is because my god, he is so criminally underrated. And as ES Guy says, funny enough, ES Guy actually mentions Jogo as well. But then he says Reggie was a decent antagonist for Megami and a good fighter. People just don't like his design, and that is facts. That is too true. The thing about JJK, like I always say, if you aren't a flashy fighter, or if you don't have any big moves, people are just gonna underrate you and think you're weak. And this is the case for Reggie. Reggie is insanely versatile and insanely adaptable. Easily one of the most versatile fighters in the entire series. He can adapt to any scenario, he can adapt to any type of fighter or any type of ability or even terrain. It is so crazy. The only characters who can match him in terms of versatility are actually Yuta and Kenjaku. That's it. No one else. Physically, he's insanely powerful already, but his curse technique is just so broken. No matter what the situation is, he has a receipt for it. He can spawn drones, he can spawn heavy trucks, he can spawn carrots that have knives in them, he can spawn deadly pots that can damage Megami, I guess. For some reason, that pot is grade 1 level, I guess, I don't know. But he can even use it to heal himself. Granted, he can't heal any insane wounds that are life-threatening or mortal, but he can heal actually minor wounds and even restore fatigue and stamina, where he used the receipt, so it's like he was at spa and a relaxing hotel for 3 days. Now granted, again, if he loses a limb or something that he can't heal in 3 days naturally, it's not going to help with that, is it? He's still going to lose that limb or die from a very mortal wound, but it is still crazy because he can actually replenish his stamina and heal minor wounds. This is something people tend to forget, but it actually would restore his cursed energy as well. So any amount of cursed energy he's used, when he uses that receipt, because it's like he's been relaxing for a couple days at spa, naturally that would mean he would get all of his cursed energy back because it would replenish. So yes, it's kind of crazy. Depending on how many of those receipts he has, he can do that many times. At the very least, we know he can do it once. But this guy gave Megumi one hell of a fight, and even against Megumi's powerful domain, he was actually one of the few characters beside Yuki and Mechamaru to actually counter it by spawning heavy objects, because again, he can just adapt to any environment, any ability, any domain. And he also has the Hollow Wicker Basket Symbolum. I do think he is insanely underrated. I think he's amongst the top 10 of all grade 1 sorcerers. I think he's gonna give Yuji a hell of a fight. I'm not even gonna lie. I think it's a high diff either way. People say Yuji low diffs this guy. I'm just like, what crack are you smoking? Yes, Yuji is way stronger physically, but you have to remember, Reggie is far, far, far more than just a physical fighter. He has all of these receipts that have all of these just random and crazy and useful abilities, because he is a crafty fighter. He is a very shifty one. But of course, again, because it's not flashy or because it's not some massive attack or energy beam, people just tend to underrate him, and that's something that actually happens a lot for many characters in anime actually. Interesting enough, one that came up a lot is Inumaki, such as your boy Plank saying everyone talking smack about Inumaki but forget that he was the highest grade of the bunch in volume 0. And of course we have Zaim saying Inumaki straight up, and we have Rasta RD saying probably Inumaki, and he says Inumaki probably has the potential to be strong, and this is something I actually want to agree on. Inumaki is a super powerful support, but you have to remember he's only in his 2nd year of Jujutsu High. To be a semi-grade 1 in his 2nd year is absolutely crazy. And I mean, just imagine how strong he's going to be when he's in his 4th year or when he graduates. Easily a grade 1 level fighter. And considering the fact that his curse technique, yes, it is from a minor clan, it is still a very respected and very powerful curse technique. Because the thing is, as he gets more cursed energy, he's not only going to be able to use it more, he's also going to be able to use it on far stronger characters more often, and there's going to be less repercussions because of course he's going to have more cursed energy. And people actually say he has the potential maybe for a domain expansion, not that he's going to get one, but the potential may be there for his technique, and I do think he's quite underrated. He's also a great character. I don't think his character is underrated, everyone loves his character, but I do think his potential is forgotten about quite a lot by a lot of characters, and people tend to forget that he's this powerful in his 2nd year of Jujutsu High. It is crazy. It's actually an anomaly. And please let's forget Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara. Those three are of course the main cast. They're exceptions to the rules. They're just insanely powerful, which makes no sense for them being in grade 1, but they are the main characters, so let's not compare Inumaki to those guys, right? And actually something I want to bring up, this is less so about fan base that actually power scale, so the people watching this, you guys, but it's more so for the general fan base, or for people who haven't power scaled or don't know how to power scale JJK. So the more casual fans, and who I'm about to talk about are the ancient sorcerers in general. That's what Astro Boy straight up says, and I'll use this as a branch to talk about the ancient sorcerers. And funny enough, this actually does include Reggie. But we have Yuko Trey saying probably the Sendai 4 in general. Though I would disagree with Jurav, first of all, is so unbelievably hard to power scale. We just have no clue on how strong he is. It's very hard to power scale that. Kuroshi actually just sucked. The only reason he was relevant at all was because he counts as Uro. Even still, I think Uro was stronger, but that was the only reason he was relevant. More so, it's Ryu and Uro who are easily special grade fighters. If you want a true idea on how strong Ishigori is, watch my video on how strong Ryu Ishigori is. I would highly recommend that video, because Ishigori is an undefeated monster in his era and an absolute special grade level demon. And I mean easily special grade level. There is no doubt in my mind that he's a special grade level sorcerer. But there are actually comments, and I kid you not, these comments come through not all the time, but just every so often by a casual fan that say Ryu is a grade 1 level. And I'm like, my guy, what crack are you smoking? You are high as the heavenly restrictions of Toji and Maki. Whatever you want, give me that, because that shit hits hard if you think Uro and Ryu Ishigori are grade 1 level. And it is said, again, not by the people who power scale, but more casual fans, because every so often, like I said, I actually get these comments. Even yesterday, I got a comment saying Ryu Ishigori is just a strong grade 1, and I'm like, my guy, Ryu Ishigori could take on multiple grade 1 sorcerers like Maki did and not even break a sweat. It would be a joke of a fight. You have to realize just how powerful this man is. And again, if you don't agree, please check out my video on how strong Ryu Ishigori is to get a true idea. And Uro is insanely underrated, far more than Ishigori actually, because people think she's not on Ishigori or Kashimo's level. She is so powerful, and her curse technique literally warp space. Any hand-to-hand user, ineffective against her. Any character that shoots blasts or something, ineffective against her. It's really crazy. The only type of abilities that are effective are abilities such as Jiro Shikigami, where it can come at you at multiple angles, and especially so if they're small. So if there's many small attacks coming at many angles. And this is why Kurushi was a bad matchup, because he could make so many cockroaches come from literally all around her. But she is so underrated. And now to actually get into the next character, so Noah Patrick says Daido and Miyo, so of course the Kappa and the Katana guy. The thing is, it's so hard to scale these characters because none of them have had a 1v1 fight. They've been in a group fight against Naoya as well. It's really weird to scale them. I do think they're kind of underrated. I mean, I underrate them, but at the same time, it's really weird to scale. Daido seems to be, he's like a fully realized version of pre-awakened Maki. So let's say Maki never awakened and Maki trained for like 40 more years or something, and she was insanely powerful as an older person. That seems to be what Daido is, like a fully realized version of that, had Maki been training for 30 more years or something. And Miyo seems to be strong. I mean, physically he's strong. It's hard to tell, really. I mean, he does have a great idea on cursed energy because he has an understanding of the souls of things. I mean, mentally he's very strong. His symbol domain is really cool, but it has a really odd condition where you need to agree to it or it doesn't activate. It's really weird to scale these characters, and I do think they are underrated quite a lot. And actually some honorable mentions. Of course, we had Dwani Breed, an old-time member of the channel, way before I even did JJK. He mentions Nanami and Nobara as well, and Mechamaru. Mechamaru was brought up quite a lot. Todo was brought up a couple times by other people. So the inverse guy, Jiro Awasaka, yes, he is so underrated. I actually think Jiro is grade 1 level. Like, seriously. His defense is stronger than Hanami's. Granted, it's because of his inverse curse technique, and it has a very big weakness, but it is tough to find that out. And there's even good arguments from Lucifral, I think that's how you say it, sorry if I butchered it, and of course Prabhat again, but they actually discuss this. And I actually do think it is a tough technique to find out. Megami was quite lucky to find that out. But yes, I think this is a grade 1 level fighter, Jiro Awasaka, and he does get underrated. People don't realize he's so strong because he got bodied by a combination of Yuji and Megami. Keep in mind, these are two grade 1 level fighters. Granted, Megami didn't use his domain, so he's more semi-grade 1 in base at this point in the series, but Yuji was easily grade 1 in base, and he's taking on a combo of it. So that's why he got beat pretty comfortably, and of course it was because they did get a bit lucky and find out his technique. But I do think Jiro Awasaka is super underrated. So again, it's the inverse guy they fought in Shibuya. And there was other characters such as Zasukas again, Meimei, Takabo is even mentioned by 7 Sins, and actually even the whole Zenin Clan. So this one again by 7 Sins, where he mentions the whole Zenin Clan is underrated. I really agree. I think all of them are high tier grade 1 sorcerers. People just underestimate how strong pre-awakened Maki is. Even before her buff where she got the mental amps, she is a monster who can just destroy grade 1 level fighters. And of course, these are the strongest members of the Zenin Clan. I know Supreme grade 1 is just a title, so Supreme grade 1 is the same thing, but these are still the oldest and strongest and most powerful members of the Zenin Clan. And we know from the data books that the Zenin Clan members train really hard constantly. They don't let up. And of course, this is the big 3 clan. I really do think that Jinichi, Ogi, Ranta, all of them get underestimated so much. Even the head of the Kikuru unit, who I think is grade 1, and I can't remember his name on the top of my head, but even I think he was grade 1 level. But yes, they get very underrated. I agree with 7 Sins here. And to end off the video, let us talk about the true most underrated characters. Doohickey says, obviously Miwa, even though everyone is well aware that she negative diffs everyone in the verse, it's still massively downplaying the fact that it's not even 0.5% of a true power. Factual information, probably the most accurate comment I've gotten so far, so Doohickey, you're spitting facts, Miwa is too underrated. And we have Miguel saying Yuta, obviously, and I mean, how could I forget this? I'm surprised there weren't more comments about Yuta. Yuta has the least amount of fans and is the most underrated character. He gets no respect from anyone. I see people saying he's grade 2 level, grade 3 level. I need some more respect on Yuta, and can we all just admit that he is a beast who is at least semi-grade 1 level, maybe grade 1 level. But yes, Yuta and Miwa, of course, the true most underrated characters in the series, yes? But that is the video. Thank you all very much for watching. Again, sorry for all the comments that I could not answer. There were just so many. I mean, again, there were 58 comments just at the time that I'm recording this. There's probably going to be a lot more as well. But thank you all to the members who saw the community post and replied. And of course, if you did enjoy the video, please do be sure to subscribe. I have a ton of JJK content just like this. Versus battles, what ifs, discussions, theories, the whole bunch, and even live streams and such. And if you did enjoy the video, or if you liked anything I had to say, a like would be much appreciated since it does help out the channel and pushes the video. And of course, thank you to all the channel members. So we have special grade members, Trey by the way, Supreme grade 1, I hope space is edible, grade 1, Trigger, Corey G, Plexi Tier, and Soy Lugo, and Camden Moore. Thank you all so much. You guys really help out the videos. It's just much appreciated. Thank you guys. But yes, if you watched this far, you are a true legend. You are a member of the Higuruma fan club. Welcome. Let me know in the comments if you did make it this far and if you are a member of the Higuruma fan club. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care and bye-bye.